Sports presents.
What's going on, man? Hey, SIZZLE, it looks like there's a certain wide receiver that the Bears need that can actually catch a football.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. But they're never going to draft him. Never in 1,000 years.
You're listening to the Sizzle, the talk of the 219, the hottest sports talk in the region on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
So you said even if they had the second pick, they wouldn't go get him?
Man, if they had the first, second, third, and the fourth pick, they still would not do what needs to be done.
Oh,
you know what
God.
it is. You know who it is. It's the Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. And we're getting ready to talk about the national championship.
Yeah.
Woo, baby. It was a bar burner, or somebody's barn got burned down. I don't know what happened, but it was a hula walla. Yeah, that's a new word. It was a hula walla. It was
a good game, though. It was a good game at the start of it, though.
It was a great game. Bama 52, OSU 24. The game played out a lot closer than the final score, but bruh, wow. Okay, let's just look at Mac Jones. Mac Jones went 36 for 45 for 464 yards, 5 TDs, no interceptions.
You know what? Yeah. Well, he went Devonta Smith. That's what Mac Jones. It should have a little asterisk in there that just says Devonta Smith. That's why, because he was one of the few times I have seen in college where a guy's literally unstoppable. I mean, he was doing that motion across the formation, and then he would come back the other way. And then he would go back again, and whoever was lined up on him man to man had no chance to catch him to the corner. This guy must run 4.1 or something, because nobody got close to catching him at that interception point at the pylon. He was just literally outrunning everybody to the interception point. This guy
he was amazing, man. He was 12 catches for 215 yards.
I believe this guy would have went well above 400 yards receiving had he not dislocated his finger.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just think they were going to just keep throwing him the football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was no need to stop throwing him the football. From everything they were doing, those who played Madden some years ago, and you used to be able to hook the NCAA football into Madden.
Yeah.
And you could run seasons. And this was like a video game. This was like a bad video game.
It was.
Because it was nothing they could do to stop. Just when Bama started rolling, there was no stopping it, man. Nothing at all.
The thing that's amazing about Alabama is that one-on-ones, we knew that the Ohio State secondary was going to have problems. We knew that. But one-on-one, they were playing fine. I mean, Ohio State was holding its own against Alabama. The problem is that when Ohio started bringing in a second line, Alabama just goes get a whole number one starting team and bring them on. And then their third team is a number one starting team. And they just keep bringing people out there. And after a while, it's just a war of attrition. You don't have enough. They have literally, I would say, 60 guys on this team that could probably go start anywhere in the country. 60 guys on this team that could start. First, they could start anywhere in the country. Major college football. I'm not talking about Division II. I'm talking about major college programs. 60 guys on this team right now could go start anywhere in the country. I mean, they're going to go on and start and play.
I don't like this conversation when people talk about, they could be college teams could be professional teams.
Oh, no.
Because let me say this, for those of you who are listening, there is no collegiate team that would have a a real shot against a professional team.
And I don't care. And pick a professional team. You can pick
Right.
number 32 on the list, well, whoever that is. I can't even think who's the worst team in the league right now. Pick
The
that
Jaguar.
team. The Jags. Okay. Pick the
Jets.
Jags. The Jets. And put Alabama against the Jets. And I'm probably going to say, well, I know they don't score a touchdown. Absolutely, they won't score a touchdown. And I'm going to say they're going to be held to under 5 first downs.
Yeah. See, I guess this is my beloved bias. See, if you take the Bears defense and you put it up against OSU, Justin Fields would be killed.
Alabama would get killed.
Yeah, but Alabama would be slaughtered. I mean, the only one who might have a good chance on that squad would be my man. Number
Devonta
70
Smith?
in your heart.
Oh,
No,
well.
sir. No,
Oh.
Mr. Leatherwood. Mr. Leatherwood, the left tackle for Alabama, is a man-child. That is a grown man, my friend.
That's true.
That's a grown man. Now,
But when you take that guy and you put him against a Bilal Nichols or an Akeem Hicks or somebody like that, all of a sudden that man-child is up against another manimal, a
now
full-grown
they're
man.
up against a grown man. Yeah.
A full-grown man who is just as strong as they are, just as quick, and got a nastier probably disposition. Because
Right,
they got to do
Car
this.
note and child support.
Yeah, they got a nasty disposition. So any of these people out here, you're absolutely right. Any of these people out here who believe that you could take a college team and run them out against the pros. Let's take a look at all the top draft picks all around the country, right? First and second rounders. Let's just go first and second round, right? That's your top 60. How many of those guys don't make it in the NFL?
Many. Several. Half. Maybe only 25% make it out of the top.
So
top 60.
if you made up a team of the top of all stars, all stars, all Americans, you put a team of all Americans out there, they might have a chance to score. Maybe. Possible. Maybe. I don't think they would, but maybe. But as we're getting behinds whipped, this is the pro leagues. This is not whatever y'all think this is. That's why I always laugh at people. They always look at all the big guys. Oh, how come you didn't make it into the league? Or, man, you should have played professional football. And you really just want to go up there and smack them upside the head. Do you have any idea what type of athlete, what type of guy it takes first to get a call to play in the NFL? To hope that you get a chance to come to a training camp or anything else like that somebody that you can get on the list so that they would call you so you could actually get to an NFL training camp. It's so hard to do that alone. That you should put that one up on the board. I was at Dolphins training camp or whatever. That should be up on your wall somewhere. But to actually make a team, I mean, I know we crack on guys, but to actually make be on the reserves, what do they call that? The
roster, the practice squad roster.
The practice squad one. To make it
Yes,
on the
sir.
practice squad roster,
Yes.
you're a bad boy. Rest assured you're bad. Because they have the picks of everybody. And to make these squads, so these guys are down. We saw there's a couple of future guys in here who could possibly be all pro. We do see a Devonta Smith who is just faster and better than everybody. Now, let's ask a question. What happens when he comes to the league and he got guys who can run like he can run?
Right. And guys who are stronger and bigger. You know, Devonta Smith, maybe they're saying he's what?
He's
listed
165.
He's 165, but they're saying he's listed at about 6 feet. He might be 5'10".
Yeah, he's about 5'10", about 165. I mean,
he's
the cleats would give him 5'11", and he's about 165. Now, the thing that we saw he has a great explosiveness where he has a quick twitch where he can get moving in a hurry. But now you're talking about defensive backs in the league who's going to figure some things out, and they put their hands on him. Can he beat press coverage?
Right. Because you have some guys there like Jalen Waddle. A big shout out to him for muscling through and making it work. Obviously hurt.
I was concerned about that. I really was. Like, why play?
I was very concerned.
Why play? I mean, I just don't understand. Run him out there for a couple of plays, maybe because he's begging you to get out there. But why risk that? Even though they said his leg, he has to get used to playing on it. So maybe medically maybe they just wanted to show everybody out there that he can still run. But my biggest problem was that he showed everybody that he couldn't run well. I mean, he got out there after his first catch and he was gimped up. I think that just hurt his draft. I think that just hurt his draft possibilities. I would have waited until he was ready on his pro day to have him go run routes, and I just don't know why they ran him out there. I don't know why they did that.
Well, he didn't look good, and you're not trying to get ready when you're grimacing and wincing in pain.
Yeah,
he was in pain. You could tell, and the wrong hit on the ankle that could actually be a career ender for him. But there were other guys out there who looked good. Barmore looked good. I hear a lot of chatter about he would be great for the Bears. He could replace Akeem Hicks. Pump your brakes for those of you who are thinking that Barmore is the new coming of Akeem Hicks. He had a good game. He really did. But you had some injuries on OSU's line, which made it really easy for him to move around. But, I mean, you had some guys out there. Let me say, I never thought I'd say this, but Master Teague.
I thought it was Master P's kid. I'm like, Master.
Right.
Who?
I'm like, Master P's kid?
Master P's kid's playing out there? Didn't know. I thought he just played basketball.
Yeah. I was like, wow, there's a young man named Master Teague. Wow. And then there's a saxophonist out there, Najee Harris. And Najee Harris was giving people the business. Boy, oh baby. Every time he got near the ball, it was oh baby. Oh, I didn't know you could do. Oh, then he made a catch and then he spun around. You were like,
here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about this whole game. Yeah. It was that you had Nick Saban, the king of the living room. Because I don't know how you get these guys to come in and wait their turn to play at Alabama. Most of these guys can go in on a lot of programs and walk in and start. And you got guys sitting, I mean, like Devonta Smith, had it not been for Waddle getting injured, he wasn't targeted to win the Heisman. Waddle was going to be the number one wide receiver. He was going to be the man. You had Trevor Lawrence, Waddle. Devonta Smith wasn't even in the conversation.
Right, in the picture.
Right. And all of a sudden he comes out of here, now he was the guy who caught the winning touchdown pass with Tua Tagovailoa threw the ball to him. I had it and then it left. I was like, Tua, and then all of a sudden it just went to lollipop in my head, and I just went on downhill after that. I was crashing and burning, so I just went on and went down in flames. I just,
we can do just Tua. Tua's great.
Yeah,
I think Devonta Smith robbed your guy. I think he robbed Lawrence of a Heisman Trophy.
I think so.
I think he did.
I think so.
I think he really did.
The issue was Trevor didn't show well. Trevor didn't show well. And Trevor didn't show well in this last game that they lost. So it looked. I think he lost the Heisman on that day.
Well, but you know who really looked good, and it doesn't look like he looked good, but in the second half, Justin Fields, when it seemed like it was nothing but despair, I had really contemplated turning the game off by the time they got into halftime. And I thought, yeah, if I turn the game off, I won't get to hear what happened, and I won't get to see Maria Taylor, and I won't get to hear all the good stuff that was going on the field. But Justin Fields, 3 plays, 75 yards in the second half. He was masterful at leading his team down the field. And I know, Jay, you said, yeah, you've poo-pooed Justin Fields. You've poo-pooed him.
I don't think he's going to be. I mean, I think he's going. Is the guy could play in the NFL? Yes. Is he the guy you want to go and that be your number one quarterback guy you're trying to go get? Probably. For me, no. I mean, he showed
Justin Fields is going to be. He did. He showed you some.
He showed
some
he's tough,
stuff.
and he could spin the ball. I just don't know if he could spin the ball at the rate. One thing I didn't see with him was that, and maybe because of this game, the game before, I didn't see him where I was when like, okay, there it is. I didn't see that throw out of him. Even with Mac Jones, that's his name out of Alabama. I don't know why I just forgot his name. Even with him, I think most of his output is because of the wide receivers. I don't know if you put him on even ground and put those wide receivers on even ground with even defensive backs, I don't know if he's the guy who's throwing them open. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's the guy who's spinning it and put it in. And in the NFL, we found out you have to be the guy who can spin it and put it in tight windows and stick it in tight windows on a regular basis. I just don't know if Justin Fields, no, he's a good quarterback, don't get me twisted. I just don't know if he's the guy day in and day out who's going to spin the ball in and be able to physically put that ball where it needs to be on a relative basis. So you have to be able to do that to be a good quarterback in the NFL. We're talking about good quarterback in the NFL. We're talking top 18 and up. He was compared a lot to Joe Burrow. There was a lot of comparison last night on the broadcast to he and Joe Burrow. I'm not sure he's the same. There were different things I saw out of Joe Burrow that I didn't see out of Mac Jones. I did see a lot of leadership out of Mac Jones, but I don't know if I saw the same Joe Burrow. I don't think he's Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow, to me, he was one of those guys walked up to the line. He knows exactly what's going on. And you saw that happening before he got injured. That he's playing on a team that does not have all the bells and whistles on it, and Joe Burrow was making it happen. Now,
I don't know. LSU had one of the most prolific offenses until last night. Last year's Joe Burrow's squad had a prolific offense, and I don't know what Joe Burrow's going to be in the NFL. I know some say, hey, it's just an injury. He'll heal and get over it.
Yeah.
Contraire, Monfrere. He had compound fractures. It looked horrific. It didn't look good. So let's see. 1, 2. This is 21, 22. I'm not expecting to see a good Joe Burrow to 23 or 24. At the least. I think it's going to take him for you to see the best out of Joe Burrow. I don't think he's going to be the same Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah.
He'll never be the same. But until probably around 2023, 2024.
Oh, yeah, at least 2023. I think it's going to take him a while to get back, especially with an injury like that. I mean, as complete as he hasn't completely put that thing back together again. So, I mean, and the technology today, they can't do that. But the question is, though, will you still be able mentally to be able to stay in and stand in under fire and get the pass off? That's the greatness of these NFL quarterbacks, that they stand in and know they're going to get hit and they throw the football. And they have that clock in their head and they're not shying away from it, and they know they're going to get hit and they get rid of the football. You have to be able to do that in the NFL. You have to be. All those guys, the great ones, all take hits and throw the ball. So I think any of these guys can sit back in a clean pocket and sling the ball around. The question was, like, even look at Justin Fields yesterday. He played well, But as I was reading, he only completed 4 or 12 passes for 78 yards against Alabama when he was under pressure. So the question is, under pressure, can you get the ball out to where it needs to go and still be able to move the football? That's where, and I would say the great ones, but your top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, this is what they do consistently every year, day in and day out. They get the ball out under pressure. Like a lot of them, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, any other of these top quarterbacks, if you blitz them, they're going to get you. If you don't get them, but you constantly blitz them, they're going to get you because they know where the defense, if you blitz me here, I know where you're weak at, I know where I get the ball out. And they get smacked in the mouth and get rid of the football. The question is, with these guys coming in, you have to be able to do that on a consistent basis. One thing I saw with Joe Burrow, that he was able to get the ball off and stand in there and take hits.
You saw him standing there and take a hit and get killed.
Well,
he got killed by having a terrible line.
Yeah, but that's what happens with these good quarterbacks to get behind these bad lines, and all of a sudden they're putting themselves at risk. They're putting them, you know what I'm saying? But that's the reason why you saw like an Eli Manning who said, you know what, I'm not going to go over there. I'm just, pick me, I'm not going to play. Because I don't have to.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When we look at, you're talking about quarterbacks and we're doing some comparisons. And it's funny, as you're talking, it makes the case in my mind even more solid. When you look at Justin Fields, my comparison and what I'm looking at when I see Justin Fields is I see Deshaun Watson. I see the same type of athletic quarterback who can get the ball out, who can scramble when he needs to, but can get plays. If you look at what happened to Deshaun Watson this past season with no weapons, no running game, no wide receivers, a questionable offensive line, even at his best trying to get the ball off, he couldn't get it off because there was nowhere to get it off. Now, did he have an excellent game against the Bears? Yes, he did. I think that goes – a lot of people, that got swept under the rug, how well a game that he played against the Bears. But when I look at a Justin Fields, I don't see upper echelon, but I see Justin Fields as a better diagnoser and reader of the field than a Mitchell Trubisky. So my comp for Justin Fields would be a low end or low grade, either Deshaun Watson or I would say Arizona's quarterback, but I think his build is a little bit stronger. I think he could get it off. I think if there's a comp to Justin Fields, it would have to be Deshaun Watson for me. But my question to you would be, if there's a comp for him, who would Justin Fields be in the league?
Jalen Hurts, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I put him around in that same. To me, you have to have, and I know you're going to say, oh, well, look what he did against Clemson. You have to have those flashes of unstoppability, I think, to prosper in the NFL. You got to have that thing where you go, oh, I don't care what you do, you're not going to be able to stop that guy. I think you have to have some of that to be one of the top 10 in your position in the NFL. 10 or 15 in position in it. I think you just have to be that guy. We look at Devonta Smith and we said, okay, that guy can't be stopped. We looked at him and said, okay, out of everybody I've seen wide receiver this year or in some past years, I mean, nobody was talking about, and Tyreek Hill, who knew who Tyreek Hill was really before he got into the league. I mean, some people say, well, I knew who he was, but okay. But when you look at this guy, you go, wow, okay, I don't care what you do at this top level, this guy can't be stopped. And so I don't know, with Justin Fields, he's a gamer. He's a guy who, I think he threw better balls after he got hurt against Clemson. I really do. I think sometimes the pain is going on in your mind and it shuts down your other thought processes, and then you're just reading and reacting. And you saw him, that throw he came back and threw for that touchdown was a fabulous throw to the front corner. I mean, fabulous. And so you saw a guy who was really putting the ball where it needed to be when he was injured. I think this time, the injury was really playing in his head. And once he took a shot or two, I think the injury sort of took over a little bit. And so he wasn't as accurate as he needed to be. I think he was fighting to get into the championship game last week. He was trying to show that I belong, that Trevor Lawrence is not the man. I'm a man too. He got injured and he got up and kept fighting. That's that fighting spirit. I like to see that in him. But as we go projecting forward, I don't know if he translates in the NFL as well, because what did Justin Fields do that was exceptional before he got hurt? I mean, did he have Lamar Jackson type speed? Does he have a Pat Mahomes type arm? You know what I'm saying? Does he have something that just stands out? There you go. One thing we look at Joe Burrow, we knew Joe Burrow, he had it locked down when he played against, what was it, Alabama and Clemson? I don't know why I'm drawing these blanks today. Clemson. In that championship game, they had his number for a minute, and then he figured it out. And once he figured it out, it was on and cracking. And you knew he had him. You knew then, and you just saw him get better and better as the game went along. So you got to ask yourself, what does Justin Fields do exceptionally well that's better? Because really, to tell you the truth, he was never really in the talk of the best quarterbacks in the country until a few games ago. And I think just because of how well they were playing, and then you also too is that Ohio State did not play that many games this year. So I think this was their 7th game or something like that. So so you had a situation where a guy really didn't get a chance to hit his stride. So I don't know. I mean, look, I want all these young guys to have opportunity to play in the league and have them prosper in the league. I just don't know if his skill set is going to directly translate like Jalen Hurts. Does he directly translate into the league? We don't know.
Well, with the firing of their head coach in Philadelphia, I think we're going to get a good opportunity to see what Jalen Hurts can do unless they pick up somebody else. And, back to the thing with Justin Fields, maybe he becomes your Kyler Murray. Maybe he does come out and become that quarterback where there were questions about him being able to play, but then as he becomes a professional, learns the craft a little bit more, I think he might be a diamond in the rough. And this year, I believe more so than in the past, maybe 5 seasons. Yeah, I would say maybe 5 seasons. Or go all the way back to, 2016, 2017, when Mitchell Trubisky and Pat Mahomes, when they were all drafted. I think this year you've got at least 5 good quarterbacks that can come out of the first 2 rounds. Franchise quarterbacks that can come out the first 2 rounds. I believe that they're there. But Jay, let's transition over to a man that's 69 years old. He has 7 championships, 6 in Tuscaloosa. 1 he got at LSU. Let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend. Let's talk, because now, I mean, you have to put some respect on Nick Saban's name. You got to put some respect on that name, because he's done things that even the great Bear Bryant didn't do. So, as far as a legacy goes, what do you believe his legacy is, as it will go down in the annals of time?
Well, you know what I just look at his Alabama teams, how tough they are, and how well they play together, and how disciplined they are.
Yeah.
You look at these Alabama squads, you don't think about them. You tough, great athletes, but the one thing you don't think about, this is not Miami of the 1980s.
No.
This is not guys getting in trouble. This is not guys failing out of COVID protocol. This is not guys that are on police blotters. And, where you would think, guys of this talent level, I've never seen year after year after year after year. You just keep bringing more and more talent. Devonta Smith was a freshman when he caught that pass from Tua. Mm-hmm. A freshman in the national championship game that you really hadn't heard of. And they put him out there and he produced. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he produced. And all of a sudden, 4 years later, he comes back and now he's a Heisman. They had the Heisman Trophy winner. They had the Outland Trophy winner. They had the Player of the Year. They had the Remington Award winner. They also had the Walter Camp Award winner. They had the Doak Walker Award winner. All on one team.
They had all of your awards on one line, one team, one quarterback, one receiver. And if it weren't for one hiccup by a linebacker, the crowning hit that he put on Rockard, this was a clean game. And now shout out to Rockard. Let me say this. He's huge. That tight end, he is huge. And he took a shot that I believed his jaw was broken. That's how
he got up. And he should have went into concussion protocol. I was surprised because he was out. He laid down on the ground. His eyes was closed. He was out. And they should have went out there and put him in concussion protocol. I don't know how they missed that. But what I don't understand with these guys is that we had a number of guys now talking about they need to, do something different with these targeting calls. If you duck your head on these targeting calls, I think you need to be put out the ball game because you're going to break your neck. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to break somebody or something.
The problem is that this is how these guys were getting their spine severed when they were coming in, ducking their head like that. The compression goes down there. You should be put out for that. But if you're coming up and you got your neck bowed and you putting your eyes on your target and you hit somebody, especially in a bang bang play like that, what are you supposed to do? You got 255 pounds flashing in front of you, you close. And you saw the one guy almost got a targeting call and he turned his head away from him. And I think some of those guys are going to break their neck trying to hit him with just the shoulder only. Now you saw.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of guys injured like that. We see Kyle Fuller do that with the Bears a lot. He throws that shoulder and it's perfect. And then it still even looks like it's a targeting the way he does it. To your point, I think you're going to get a lot of guys who are going to have major shoulder problems as they get older from the way they've been.
The thing is, now you had Seattle, the Seahawks came and they brought in the rugby tackle, where whichever shoulder you're near shoulder, that's who you hit him with. Throughout the years, we were always taught to get across his body, get your head across in front of him, and then drive the rear shoulder into him. So you would, but now they don't really care. They just like whatever the nearest shoulder, just put your nearest shoulder on him and rugby tackle him, which I think is a good technique. But as for what's the guy supposed to do though, when you got 255 pounds coming across in front of you, what are you supposed to do? So, but he did duck his head and got to the crown. He should have been ejected for that. At least I thought so, because it's the same hit that Justin Fields got hit with, where he ducked his head and put the crown of him into his back like that. You can't do that. You got it because you're going to break your own neck. That's you're gonna do something different. So I think right now they're trying to lessen the viciousness of the game because of the litigation side of it. Because now you're saying that, especially with the CTE going on and all this, they're saying, we're trying to keep people safe in the game, and so that's why we're doing what we're doing. But it seems like every rejoin that comes back, they always show the big hits. The TV stations are showing the big hits, the big knockouts. They replay
they pay the bills, don't they? Yeah. The kids pay the bills.
They replay the same hit 5 times over in a row. Watch this. And if you don't want somebody to be seen, then just don't show it. Hey, that was an illegal hit. We're going to show you why it was illegal, and then stop showing it. Just like NASCAR. Like they got the guys drive around. People don't watch NASCAR. Well, I watch it. Because they just, because you're an audiophile, you like the speed and all that. A lot of people tune in to NASCAR because they know at some point in time there's going to be an accident. And they're going to show the car flipping over slow with the flames and fire. That's every NASCAR commercial. So we understand sport is entertainment. And, I think right now sports, especially NCAA football, they made it so offensive driven that if you don't have the Najee Harrises, if you don't have the Devonta Smiths, if you don't have the Waddles, if you don't have these guys who can just light it up, you really don't have a chance to win these championships. It's like right now, all these guys are going to go to the league, and who's going to be the team right now you're going to say who's going to win the national championship without even knowing their roster, and you're going to say Alabama.
Alabama, Clemson, LSU, the powerhouses. Whenever you may not know who's going to do what, but at some point, and that's what it's amazing when you watch Notre Dame now. You watch a dynasty in the 80s and early 90s where they had, just like to your point earlier about Miami, they had those type of players. They had them year after year after year, and it's so shocking to see a Notre Dame now, and there's no way they're going to win a national title.
Notre Dame can't recruit South Florida. They can't recruit the speed that they need. They get one or two guys up there, and they really, after they start getting whacked, back after who's that now? I'm drawing a blank on the coach. After they won the championship with Lou Holtz, and then you start seeing Notre Dame start to get whacked when they start playing against these good teams. That's why they stayed independent all those years. And all of a sudden you had these teams come out with these speed. Look, who's that? The University of was it Coastal Carolina? Was it Coastal Florida this year?
Was it ECU? East Coastal?
One of these teams, they went, I got to look it up. But they went,
Notre Dame.
They went undefeated. I can't think of, God, I'm drawing a blank. But you saw a team like this who had athletes who didn't get a shot to even get a chance to play in the inside the playoffs. That's why I think they should make the playoffs an 8-team playoff. So that way you get teams like that Florida team in there to give a chance to play. But you see these teams, if you do not have the speed on the outside, you're not going to win. You're just not going to win. If you don't have a guy out here who is exceptional, or two or three, you don't have a chance. And that's why you see now Alabama, Clemson, who else? LSU. Ohio State. Yeah. Ohio State didn't really have a chance to win that game yesterday. The only real chance they had was their offensive line of going up against Alabama if they had all their pieces there. And they didn't.
Yeah.
And so that was, and they played well against Clemson because they had pretty much everybody there. But now you didn't. And so we knew a guy like a Bearman was going to get off and play well because you're going against guys that can't block you. So I think
I mean, it was an amazing thing where you have Ryan Day, what he had, and Ohio State having a great team, but there was no answer for Nick Saban and Sarkisian. The way they put a game together, that game plan, the innovative way they were able to use offense, put it together with the tools that they have. I don't think there's any way to stop. If you can stop the pipeline, then you can stop the attrition of moving forward. Yeah. But to your point, you're not going to be able to stop LSU, Alabama, Clemson, and it's somebody I'm missing there. Alabama.
Yeah, the UCF. I think it was University of Central Florida. I think that's who it was.
Okay. I'm trying to think what other team, because Miami hasn't been good in years. The U has not been. Oh, my God,
the U is terrible now.
Florida State sucks. I'm trying to think, even out west, even in the pack, I'm not. UCLA is. I'm not worried about.
Nothing's coming out of the pack.
Yeah. So, If it's not coming out of the SEC, it's probably not coming out.
And which I'm surprised out of the Pac-10, they just cannot pull it together out there and put teams together out here that could actually compete. But I think what the SEC did was what the Pac-10 did when I played out there, was that they went out and modeled their wide receiving core to be like those Pac-10 wide receiving cores, where you knew you went out to the Pac-10, you were throwing the football. And I think right now, the Big 10, Big 12, all those teams like that, they were still stuck in 3 yards in a cloud of dust, even though Notre Dame was stuck in that, until they start getting their behinds tore off by these SC. Alabama, you really look at Alabama as a throwing team more than you see them as a running back team, even though they have great running backs that come out of Alabama.
But they have more prolific receivers,
but they have unfair running backs coming out of Alabama. I mean, you look at guys that Alabama's turned out, you're like, oh, holy smokes, wait a minute. Where are they finding that guy? You know? So, but you could get these guys, you could say, hey, we're going to open up the offense by throwing the football all over the place, and that's going to open up you to run. So it's just one of these things that unless you have the guys that you can put out there year after year that can compete with an Alabama. I mean, you see Sarkisian's going to Texas, and Alabama doesn't matter. Alabama's still going to roll.
Right.
You know.
Right. That's the sad part. Even without him, he's going to take his talents there. I'd love to see take his talents to the Bears for their offensive coordinator position, but that's a whole different subject.
But again, I think it's all about players. I think with the Bears' biggest problem right now, you have a really good wide receiver in Allen Robinson, but he's a great wide receiver. You know, and then you
wait, Joe Cowley, you can't just slide that one in and think that was going to roll. So, okay, Zach LaFene's a good player, but he's not a great player. So let's talk about this Allen Robinson thing real quick. Word on the street is his agent said the Bears had 365 days to do a contract.
Right.
So, yeah. We didn't get one done. So, we didn't get one done.
Right. But here's the thing about it.
You can't lose talent in the Bears.
Well, here's the thing about it, though, right? All right, so are people going to give up the farm for Allen Robinson? Is he
what farm?
I'm just saying. What are you going to give up to get him if you needed to? How much are you going to pay him?
Now, if you're somebody like Tampa Bay.
Really? Hold on. They just shown they can keep AB stable down there. If you could keep AB stable down there, and you got Mike Evans,
they can't keep AB stable. He's stable because AB can't keep AB stable.
He's living with Tom Brady. They eating.
That's till he gets convicted of something.
Giselle has got him eating flautas de pollo of Brazil and ruru leaves and whatever. And Tom Brady's got him with the TB12 drinks going on. And look, AB, did you see AB? AB is getting more and more involved into this offense, and all of a sudden Tampa Bay is scary. Because now you got big old Mike Evans, bully boy out there, and all of a sudden now you got the Jedi Master, because that's who he is. He's the Jedi Master out there, and they just went and found Luke Skywalker. AB is a Luke Skywalker, and they went over there in that mountain over there, and they found him, and they just pulled him in, and now he has his lightsaber out that actually works. They came back, like, was that Rogue One, when she came out there and gave him back his lightsaber? Well, AB got his lightsaber. AB dangerous. You don't want to know. Who wants it? Who wants it with AB?
Well, I mean, you could, if you're Allen Robinson, you could go back to Jacksonville. I mean, they'll
and
probably
die.
have Trevor Lawrence, and that'll
And die. And die. You're going to go to Jacksonville and die. That's what you're going to go do.
Oh my God!
I mean,
you're not going to die.
You're going to die at Jacksonville.
Well, I mean, it will. It'll be a slow death. But it won't be you'll be.
Look,
you'll be dead, but it won't happen all at once.
I like Allen Robinson. I really do. But what are you going to? Are you going to pay him the money that he wants? Are you going to franchise him? You know, with the Bears, they were talking about doing him at one time. They were going to is he top 5 receiver money? Because that's what he's asking for, top 5 receiver money.
You know what's amazing is even with the playoffs rolling, maybe a Buffalo, maybe a Cleveland, if they get rid of Odell Beckham, I can't see a place really, maybe Tennessee, but I don't see somebody really opening up the purse and saying, here you go, Allen, take our money and be our number 1 receiver. I don't see it. In fact, I see Allen more as a number 2 receiver, not a number 1.
I'm reading right now that he finished 9th in the entire league in receiving yards. He led the league in yards gained on corner routes last season. You know, he's went over 1,100 yards the last 2 seasons. Blah 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 blah. The whole thing is that is he a guy that you're going to come in, pay him number 1 money, and he's the guy that's going to help turn your franchise around? Because literally he's going to have to go to a team that's on the precipice of maybe breaking through, and they need that guy, you know? And I don't know if he's that guy, quote unquote. We see he catches the ball. Don't get me twisted. I like me some Allen Robinson. I like him in the Bears uniform. I like that he goes up and get the football. I like it that if you put him around him, he's going to fight for the football. But is he a guy that scares you?
No. And in fact, what scares me the most about Allen Robinson is why his undershirt under his uniform is so baggy. I don't, because you're leaving a lot of that's fabric that somebody can grab and hold. I don't understand why he has like the really big thermal shirt up under his
Some guys don't like all that, you know. It all depends. It not is. Everybody's weird.
Yeah,
everybody's weird. You know, they wear the uniforms weird. Like I don't understand with these guys right now. And you know, maybe I'm old. So please, maybe I'm old. But why don't people wear knee pads anymore? And then they all get clacked and they all start grabbing their knees in the game because the helmet hits their knee. And I'm like, if you have a knee pad on, I just don't understand it.
I would think the same thing in basketball because I didn't know short shorts had made a comeback. I mean,
they got some
LeBron doing it, but I didn't know that was the thing now. Like the high and tight, that's the thing. That's the move.
Yeah. You got some guys out here now that are running around in boxers, basically onesies.
Yeah, they're like little onesies. But if I were a player and you're worried about your knees getting clacked up, I'd do like Derrick Rose and come out looking like a gladiator from 300.
Right.
I mean, I'd have on more padding. Oh, baby, you're not getting near these knees. No, you're not.
I just don't understand. I mean, I saw a couple offensive linemen out there, and I know why they're doing it because a lot of times now you're playing, there's no contact going on. And so you're playing in shoulder pads and shorts, basically. You got some hitting going on. And so you get used to that feeling free on your legs. You move better without all that stuff on your legs. I mean, I was a guy who didn't like to play, even though I didn't play a lot. I was injured a lot. But I like playing with, as light an amount of equipment on as possible because it just made you feel lighter. But I always had knee pads on. So I just don't I don't understand.
You saw an Ohio State player who, without knee pads, what happened to his knee.
Yeah.
And to me, it doesn't seem like it's worth the way new padding has come, they have new types of prosthesis and things. Because I do believe when you see Joe Burrow again, he's going to look like the robot on the Fox newscast. That's exactly what Joe Burrow is going to look like. he's going to be just a head of a man and a body of a robot because he's going to be protected. They're going to give him a protective suit body. In fact, he's going to look like Tony Stark's little brother. I'm telling you, yeah, now is the time, children. If you need to get knee pads, the SIZZLE's going to come up with some knee pads. We're gonna do pads.
We're gonna hope that the Bears re-sign Allen Robinson. I like Allen Robinson here. I just don't know if he goes out on the free agent market, how big a clamoring that's going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Quick question. Boomer Esiason, he didn't throw Mitchell directly under the bus, but it was close enough to the bus.
Yeah.
He threw him near the front tire.
Yeah.
The whole thing is everybody's saying the only way the Bears are going to get better is they have to rebuild this offensive line, which is where I point out my man Leatherwood. If you want a left tackle, McCaskey family, look at that boy, what he did last night. Left tackle, sealing edges, going up, rushing. He was so good. He was out. They called him because he was up the field too fast. That's how good this boy is. But okay, I digress. Yeah. The only two things that any executives can tell you that can change the Bears: line and QB play. And we've all gotten happy. And I know Mitch just won the Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player. That's special.
How ridiculous was that?
Yes. That's special to be the first time MVP of a losing team. But how, Jay? How do you fix this quickly? Do you go and draft a rookie quarterback and then throw him into the fire day one?
Well, you got to go get a quarterback from somewhere. And that's number one. We know that the quarterback that's going to lead your team to a playoff win is not on your team right now.
Yes,
so you're going to have to go get a quarterback from somewhere. Mm-hmm. Somehow, somewhere, whether you draft him or whatever you need to do, you're going to have to go get a quarterback from somewhere. Your main problem that you have with the Bears, and because they sold everything out on 2018 to go and win a championship. Now, don't get this twisted, people. I don't want to hear it because back in 2018, started that season, I want to say, was it 2018 or 2019, G? So I'm trying to remember. I think we were doing a remote at a bar. Was it that? First game of the year?
18.
First game of the year? No, when the Bears got blasted.
By the Packers.
By the Packers. I think we were on remote.
We were on remote. Yeah.
We had all types of high hopes that day. We were set up at the bar. We had chicken wings going. We had people conversation with the mic set up for people to come up and join the show, all this type of things. And the Bears got mollywopped.
Yeah.
Absolutely mollywopped. And that was a team everybody was thinking, okay, this is it. The Bears are going to the league. I mean, not to the league. The Bears are going to the Super Bowl because they had that type of defense, right? They had this defense that was fantastic. Now you have a defense that's not that defense now. They're not leading the league in takeaways and all these type of things and doing the magic bean numbers and numbers we've never seen before from a defense. You know, I'm getting 18 fantasy points from the defense and, they're shutting people out. We don't have that defense now. And so since you don't have that defense now and you had a better version of Mitchell Trubisky then in 2018 than you have now. So the Bears are a team that needs a lot more than just the offensive line now. If you have the offensive line in here, that's going to give the Bears stability that they could possibly start putting up mid-range NFL points, like scoring 24 points a game, 21 points a game, at least 3 touchdowns in a game that you can get from this team. But this elite defense that they constructed, these guys are starting to get injured. You start to see Roquan Smith going down. You're starting to see different players now starting to chirp a little bit about the unity of that defense and so you're going to start seeing some exoduses from, I don't know if exodus is the word, but you're going to start seeing some maneuverability going on these defenses, and you might see some wholesale changes in the management side of the Bears. So right now you're looking at the Bears. The Bears are in a bad situation right now. And that's why you might, going back to the original question about Allen Robinson, already going to use the franchise tag on Allen Robinson, already going to do that because I don't think they want to devote that money. To tell you the truth, I think they're going to let Allen Robinson walk. I really believe that's what they're going to do because I don't think they think they're going to be able to compete and even in the division that they're in. I mean, they backdoored their way into the playoffs, but you saw they were only good against bad teams. You really didn't see them show out against a really good. The only team they really played well against, what was it, Tampa Bay? Did they beat? Mm-hmm. And that was a Tampa. Right, and that was a Tampa Bay. We ain't sure what we got yet. They wouldn't beat this Tampa Bay team. This Tampa Bay team is scaring everybody in the league right now. So I don't know, man. I just the Bears ain't the Jets, but we own the runway.
You know what? That's funny. We are, and it's to your point that you always said about basketball. We're in football hell.
Football
it's
hell.
Purgatory. You're in football hell. You're an 8-8 team, maybe at the best. You're a 9-7 team, or at your worst, you're a 6-10 team. But you're right in the middle. You're stuck right there. You're in purgatory. You're in purgatory.
Yeah,
you are 7-9, 8-8, 9-6.
Yeah,
that's not where you are.
Yeah, you're in football hell right now, and I think you're going to stay in football hell. I hate to see, I like Allen Robinson. I hope he goes somewhere and actually goes to compete for a championship. But I think he's a little bit too good. I hate to say this. He's just good enough that a bad team will spend some of its wealth to go get him. Because that's a splash that they have coming in, and he's going to be stuck in these mid-level teams and never really sniff a chance to go play for a team that might vie for a championship. You look at a Devontae Adams, who's been up there with Aaron Rodgers all this period of time. This is a guy who could have had opportunities to move on, and he didn't. And he's become prolific up there. And so you will hope that a guy like Allen Robinson, even though he's not a Devontae Adams, but he is good enough. I mean, is he Amari Cooper good?
Is Amari Cooper still good?
I'm just saying, is he Amari Cooper good?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, so has Allen Robinson...
The numbers say better, but no, I don't think
I'm just saying, was he ever... At any point at the height of his, and I want to say right now, he's at the height of his
career.
Of his career right now. And is he Amari Cooper good?
No.
So he's not, even though he's gonna, he's the top 5, 6, 7 wide receivers in the league, even though he has some numbers. But is he that guy that's going to come in and turn around your franchise? If you look at it, if you got a Devontae Adams to come to the Bears, you'd be like, oh, we got us one. Oh, okay, here you go. You know what I'm saying? If you got an Amari Cooper that came to the Bears, if you had some people come in there like that, and maybe we see Riley Ridley actually get a chance to play for the Bears.
Okay, on that note, we found out one thing. Allen Robinson is now Zach LaVine. That's what we've learned. We've learned Alabama's great. Ohio State has a long way to go. And Allen Robinson and Zach LaVine are actually brothers, just from different mothers. That's what we've learned, and that's what this episode's about.
It's just we're in Chicago sports hell right now. I mean, the only thing we have that's going to be any good this year is probably the White Sox.
Yeah, they just picked up a new closer. Actually, the closer that closed them out in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's not even fun.
So you look at that, but right now, I mean, I don't know. I know I'm Mr. Sunshine today, and we're going to start talking about some other teams around the country because we might have to start taking Ambien or something to get some sleep after talking about these Bears teams.
Well, we've got a lot of football coming up, and we've got playoffs, and then we've got the draft coming up sometime soon.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to NFL, comes to NCAA. But we just wanted to do our post-game wrap-up to say, hey, congratulations to the national champions. Alabama, you've done it again, and you've done it well. And hopefully at some point we will see somebody from their offensive line on the Chicago Bears. And with that said, you know who it is. You know what it is. It is the Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. Remember, if you're liking us, if you're subscribing to us, and you're sharing our content with your family and friends, you are a wonderful person.
I know, right?
Right. If you're not doing it, you are a Grinch, and that should have been left at Christmas. So please stop being miserly and give the gift that keeps giving. It's the Sizzle.
And here's the funny thing about it. I get contacted. Hey man, I love your show, and wow, I'm listening to you. Hey, we're all white listening, blah blah blah, and I'm listening to you going down the highway, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, have you went to the YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button? Oh no, I just went up. Dude, people need you to go over, if you're listening to us, go over and subscribe. Hit the like button, just push the little button. Hit the subscribe button, because we got 600 and some odd people, which is not a lot, but we got a number of people that are in our chats, talking to us, everything else, and we're like, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, because we're going to be here. We got some things coming up this year after the COVID slows down a little bit. We're going to be out on some remotes, moving around Indiana, Chicagoland area. We're going to be doing a number of things, getting out and about. I'm still recovering a little bit. The voices started to come back, so I actually will be a little bit more chipper. But we're getting there. But just hit the subscribe button and let us know, man, you're liking the content. Make some comments. If you want to hear us talk about some other things, we can go off some suggestions. We are going to start doing a little bit more national programming, but we were so heavy Bears here out in Chicago and NFL because you need to be, because we had hopes, and now our hopes have been dashed into oblivion. So anyway.
My hopes haven't been dashed because I know one thing. He's J Sizzle. I'm G Sizzle. And you're listening to the Sizzle, which is the hottest talk in the 219, the only talk in the 219 that you need to be listening to. So with that said, we will see you on the other side.